Hey, everybody, welcome to the Jim Masters Show live entertainment lifestyle talk show series. How's everybody doing today? It is Friday, and you know what? It is double Lovity Day. And those of you who watch our series all the time know what that means. That means we're doing two shows today. Yes, and sometimes we only do that, on the weekend because normally I wouldn't be here. Right now it's 1 p.m. Eastern in the afternoon. Getting a little choked up because I was so excited about our show today. And normally I wouldn't be here in the afternoon. I would be in a television studio or in a radio studio doing my thing in television and radio, which I do professionally. However, we have two shows for you today, and we're very excited about it. Matter of fact, it's been a week of that, right? Two shows we had on Tuesday. And we had Damien McGinty, my buddy from Celtic Thunder, on. And we also had from the Steve Miller Band, Kenny Lee Lewis. He was on Tuesday. And last night we had Grammy-winning producer Marvin Zioni with an amazing conversation. Today, we have award-winning composer and lyricist, singer, songwriter, musician extraordinaire, Michael Mott, coming to us from New York City, live and direct. And then tonight, comedy and more, because we have comedy legend Tim Conway, of course, from the Carol Burnett Show and McHale's Navy and so much more. Now, of course, Tim is no longer with us, but his daughter Kelly is going to be with us, Kelly Conway, live from Hollywood. And she wrote a new book, which is amazing. My Dad is Funnier Than Yours. So Kelly is with us. It's going to be really amazing, remembering Tim and the Carol Burnett Show and so much more, and Kelly's life growing up. The daughter of a comedy legend. That's on tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, for those that are watching live. This is your host, Jim Masters. This is our entertainment lifestyle talk show series that we started. Well over 500 plus episodes again. Can't believe it's been that many shows. We do variety, we do lifestyle segments, we do entertainment, we have inspiring and poignant conversations that sometimes go real deep and move us all. And we have guests that come in from Broadway, Hollywood, television, film, music, stage, culinary arts, theater, as well as food and what else? Inspiration, science and nature, health and wellness. You get the point. We do everything on this show. It's not just a show of interviews. It's a show of variety. It's all about life. It's all about connecting with all of you. And we're interactive too. We're live. You guys can comment right now live. We encourage you to do that. Many of you, I see a bundle of comments already stored up. Going to take a look at those in just a second. We'll have Michael on in just a second as well. Today, we have our Kindness Matters mug. Yes, and kindness does matter, as we all know. So we toast all of you. We've got a little Java in here. Now, this coffee, as you guys know, what happens with me, sometimes I make a hot cup of coffee earlier in the day, and it ends up sitting because I have texts and emails and phone calls and shows to host and all the stuff that I do, and it becomes like iced coffee. So we threw a cube in it, and it's now become iced coffee, because if I was to reheat it, I'd have to reheat it like 15 times before I finally get a chance to have any. How's your day going? Hope you guys are doing well. If your day's not going well, stick with us. We're going to make you smile. We're going to charge you up, as we always do. We like to have a good time here on our show. Of course, you are watching the Jim Masters Show live on our YouTube channel. We would love it if you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's really incredible. So many of you have been doing that. Thank you so much. Subscribing. I know they use the word subscribe, so you think, well, there's a cost, right? No. There's no cost. When you hit subscribe, which is that red button that you see on the screen, and it looks kind of like this. See that? You click the subscribe button, and then boom, look what happens. You're subscribed. No cost. You see it in the upper right-hand corner of our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Subscribe to it, and very important, also click the notification bell. So that way there you never miss. Like here we are in the daytime early, one of the earliest times we have done this show ever. And so sometimes there might be times we're on earlier or different times. We're usually on 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. But sometimes we do pop-up shows and we do other times. So you don't want to miss anything, because I know you guys like to be here when we're live. Don't forget, you can always watch these episodes archived on our YouTube channel. Every episode since day one has been saved and archived on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. And so subscribing is great. Clicking the notification bells, that's a little bell icon you see, is great. And also leave us a comment on the channel. Um, Pop up a like there. You know, there's a little like button, like a thumbs up you see on the YouTube channel on all the episodes of our series. Make sure that you do that. Why? Because when you click like, it lets us know you're enjoying the episodes. When you leave a comment, we respond, I respond, and that's great. More interactivity. Well, I love to be interactive as a host. You guys know that. But also, YouTube likes to see that, and then they burst this episode out even further around the world. We welcome everybody who is watching around the world right now, all across the United States, Canada, Europe, Asia, Australia, Africa, New Zealand. We welcome all of you watching live or watching on Memorex, watching in the archives. Let's check in with some of our fantastic guests. Again, Michael Mott will be with us in just a second. We do like to greet some of our viewers that are watching, like Joan Sando. She says, "Happy Friday, Jim and Lovity friends." Now, I already let Michael know about the whole Lovity thing. We say the show has a lot of light, love, and levity. And then we say the show has lovity, which it actually does. A word I just happened to come up with last summer. And so he's into it. He says, bring it on. He loves the whole lovely concept. What a great treat this beautiful day. Yes, we might be doing more of these bonus shows earlier in the day as well. It all really depends on my schedule and when I'm on the air on radio and television. I had a little free time today, so we were able to schedule this in today. It's rare. Hello, Jim and Lovely Squad. Happy weekend from Juanita, who's watching in South Africa, as usual, as she always does. Good to see you, Juanita. As always, we welcome you. We welcome, of course, all the lovities that are watching around the world. Thanks for all the comments and all the love. Thanks for all the Instagram messages, too, and the tweets and the follows and the likes. You can find me at Jim Masters TV on all of those platforms. YouTube is Jim Masters TV, where we do this show. And Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook are Jim Masters TV. We also have a Facebook group for this entertainment lifestyle talk show series, the Jim Masters Show Live. It's called the Jim Masters Show Lovity Hall. That's on Facebook, and a lot of people are in there. Merlin's watching in Ontario, Canada, and Merlin says, "Good afternoon, Jim, and all my lovity friends." You got it. Good to see you in Ontario, Merlin. Mary Bishop is in Florida. She says, "Hello, Jim and lovely friends. Can't comment, but I'll be listening," because you're at work, right? I know you take care of those seniors in Florida for your job, so you can't necessarily comment. But there you are, squeezing us in. That's real lovity. I love that. Merlin welcomes Michael to Lovity Hall. We love that. Thank you very much. And let's see. Oh, look at all these comments. Oh, Nias is here watching from France, from Paris. Once again, she is here. She's always able to join us when we do the earlier afternoon shows because it's so much later in Europe than it is here on the East Coast of the United States. We're here in the New York area, for those of you watching overseas and elsewhere, in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area along the southern New England coast between New York and Boston. Good to see you in France, as always. Let's see. We have more. We have more and more. Alessandra is here. She says, all is going very well today. We love to hear that, Alessandra. Blessings to you as well. Welcome to Lovity Hall, Michael. And hi, Jim. Thank you very much, Alessandra. She watches in North Carolina, USA. Joan Sando says, welcome, Michael. Happy Friday. You're now a Lovity. He's into that. I told him about it, and he said, absolutely, bring it on. Good stuff. Keep the comments coming. I know there's a lot of comments coming in here from all around the world. We love that. Thank you so much, gang. You truly are the very, very best. Michael Mott joining us, yes, live and direct from New York City. Let me tell you a bit about him. Internationally critically acclaimed award-winning composer, lyricist, songwriter, vocal producer, living and working in New York City. He was born and raised in New Hartford, New York. He graduated from Ithaca College with a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree, musical theater performance. He moved to New York City in 2007 and has enjoyed a successful career performing in numerous off-Broadway, regional, and national touring shows. In 2012, He decided to shift his focus to writing and was accepted into the prestigious BMI Lehman Engel Musical Theater Writers Workshop. And he's since been named one of Playbill's contemporary musical theater songwriters you should know. And you'll know about him right here on the Jim Masters Show Live exclusively. He has won Broadway World's 2020 Cabaret Award. We love our friends at Broadway World. Best original song for his piece, Jingle My Bells, written for the Boy Band Project. Some of his original musicals include In the Light as well, and Mob Wife, a mafia comedy, and Riding Out the Storm, and several others, A Faustian Tale. He's really incredible. And he's also known for his recording studio work too. And he's got an incredible array of musical pieces. We're going to talk about that. He's also excited about a new show that is coming up as well. Yep, here's a cool shot of him doing his thing at the piano and so much more. He's a brilliant musician as much as he is a composer and lyricist and songwriter and performer himself. But why don't we welcome Michael, who is positioned very comfortably in his humble abode in New York City. Join us in a JMS Lovely welcome, everybody, as we welcome Michael to the show. Hey, Michael, welcome to the show. It is fantastic to have you on the show.
Hi. That was a great intro.
Thank you very much. I picked
Thank
the right
you.
career, huh? Hosts with the most, I guess. How you doing today? How's everything going? I know it's a busy time. Things are starting to get, into the swing of things, slowly opening up, which is a positive thing. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm actually, like you said, I'm in my living room. I do normally be at my piano, but I'm doing, they're doing construction because I live in New York, and it is so loud in there that I had to move out here because everyone would be so annoyed hearing drills and glass shattering. They seem to be, today seems to be the day that they're taking all of glass and just smashing it into a dump truck. So that's all I've heard for the last 2 hours. And I was like, I need to get out of that room.
Yeah. Yeah. Bang, boom.
Yeah, no one wants to hear that. So I came in my living room.
No, you couldn't even pretend that was an orchestra warming up with sounds of cymbals and, kettle drums. No, that's
Exactly.
So, we've obviously been through some crazy times and still a little bit in that pandemic situation. And it's really, changed our lives in so many different ways. We've had to adjust. We've had to pivot, be flexible, be extra creative. What are some things you've been doing, Michael, during this time of reflection and teachable moments and time to pause and think about what we want to do with the next chapter of our lives?
Yeah, the pandemic was really a wild time. I really took a lot of time because I had the time to reflect, like you just said, and I did a lot of personal work, a lot of self growth, a lot of learning actually about. We're going to dive right into this if you want to.
Yeah,
I was lucky to make music during this. I made 2 studio albums during the pandemic, all virtually, but that was a fraction of my time. A lot of time was spent looking at the George Floyd murders.
Sure.
And what that kind of brought to the forefront. And with, the last administration in the White House, there's just so much divide and tension going on. And it really led me to doing a lot of work in the area of what it means to be anti-racist. And I really took the time to learn about that and my privilege as a white man in the world and in this industry, and being a composer and lyricist and someone with, power, quote unquote, and what my responsibilities are and what I have to do and should be doing. And so that was really the focus of the pandemic for me, in addition to creating and writing.
That
and
is
eating,
fantastic.
obviously.
That is fantastic. That is fantastic. It's a beautiful thing. What have you learned about yourself? There's been a lot of teachable moments and time to really reflect. And a lot of people have been rebooting, and some have been recreating who they are and coming out of the gate and maybe with a different focus and approach to life. And of course, that's reflected in art and reflected in music and performance. A lot of people, of course, have been hearkening for the nostalgia the things that make them feel good and comfortable, things that they remember, whether it's old TV shows or music, classic films, what have you. How about you? What are some things you learned about yourself during all of this?
Well, in regards to what I was just saying, I actually learned a lot about my blind spots, um, and and that kind of trickles down to everywhere in my life. Um, given the privilege of having so much time to sit and look and reflect, I really did learn a lot about. Oops, sorry. I really did learn a lot about what how I operate as a person and how I will maybe brush things off or throw them under the rug, sweep them under the rug. And I really took the time to kind of face that and address that head on. And it's actually changed how I interact with everyone in my life, how I interact with myself, how I write, how I create, how I approach a business deal, how it's really being very clear and honest with yourself and knowing who you are, what you have, and what your responsibilities are.
Mm, beautifully
And that's
said.
been
I
that's been really
agree.
interesting for me because I've kind of been able to kind of not coast because I do work very hard, but I've been
Yeah.
able to get by for a long time uh, because of a lot of privilege in a lot of ways. So
Exactly right. Yes. So you've come to the realization of that. And, you know, connecting is so important and being communal. We're all storytellers in our own way through our work. You are through yours, I am through mine. And there's a lot of links to what you do and what I do as well in these creative arts. How did you get started? I know growing up in New Hartford, New York, um, what were some of those early influences and inspirations for you, Michael, that pointed you in the direction of wanting to even go into the arts?
well, I actually grew up watching the Elephant Show, Sharon Lois and Bram. That was the big thing that I used to love that show as a kid. And I played piano and I loved music, but it really was Saturday Night Live that got me
Mm,
going.
yeah,
And I got
yeah.
into that in junior high school, and I became obsessed with SNL, and I started doing impressions, and I found out that I was funny, and so I started to actually I converted my basement in my house to my own SNL studio,
Did
and I
you?
yeah, and I
I
made my
did that with the Mister Rogers Neighborhood. I recreated the Mister Rogers Neighborhood in the basement
oh,
with all
that's
the
amazing.
little Matchbox cars and houses and everything.
Yeah,
See the influences we have?
exactly. So I did that, and I would make my friends in high school be cast members, and I would write a
Cool.
script, and every Friday night we would film it in my basement.
Did you really? Do you still have that
Yes,
footage?
yes.
I should have had you send that footage. We could
I My mom has
have.
it somewhere. I'm sure
Of
she has
course
it in
she
the basement.
does. Are you kidding me?
It's actually like on VHS tape.
You
I have like
sure?
3 VHS tapes full of 2 hours each of just episodes. And
Now
I probably have the Word document somewhere.
was that a, dream, and is it a dream to get
Yes.
on that show?
It's not anymore. So that kind of led me to doing the high. I would go in high school. I would go in history class, and I would reenact skits.
Yeah.
My teacher, Mr. Walters, Jeff Walters, great man. He was like, you need to audition for the school musical. And I was like, no, 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 I don't sing, I don't sing. And he's like, no, you need to audition. And so he pushed me to audition, and I did. And I found out I could sing, and I was terrified. And I was like, I'm not going to sing by myself. I'll only sing in a group. And then I started singing, and more people were recognizing that and giving me a lot of good feedback. So this was now my junior year of high school, and I decided I'm going to go to apply to college for musical theater performance. Like just like that, within a year, I had decided like this is what I'm doing, and I ended up applying to the Ithaca College musical theater BFA musical theater program, and I got in, and I was like, what is happening? And I went to college for musical theater performance, and then that kind of set me on the path, and then I discovered I loved music and I loved singing and I loved performing. And meanwhile, I had been writing.
Mm,
I've been making my own skits and acting and doing impressions. And then the SNL dream kind of faded then when I realized that I could sing and I could do all this stuff. And I was a professional actor for 7 years. And then I made the switch when I got into the BMI musical theater writers program, And I knew, like, okay, if I get into this program, I have to focus just on the writing, and I can't be going out of town for 6 months to do a national tour or whatever. And I ended up getting into the program, and then my whole life changed. I got my first record deal, I met mentors, and everything just kind of fell in place. I was like, okay, I'm meant to be writing. And so that's kind of where I am. And then when I do my shows on stage, I get to be the ham I am and act. And, it's not the same, but I can do impressions and make people laugh and do my thing. So,
That's cool. So always an actor still underneath, always the
yeah.
performer, always wanting to be a storyteller in so many different forms. You have the ability now, which is great through honing the skills, to be able to do this in various different ways, whether, lyricist, composer, musician, actor, inspiring others too, and sort of mentoring others along the way, right? So you can touch upon different areas of the arts that are all still threaded together, which is kind of cool, as opposed to just being the actor or just being this or just being that. You kind of, like me, wear many different hats in this industry, which gives you the freedom to be able to touch upon a lot of different things, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I don't know if it's because I'm a Gemini and I just like to do a lot of things, or if it's because, I always felt like as an actor, I was only using a percentage of what I was capable of. And believe me, writing a musical is the hardest thing in the world, especially original musicals, because it's not about one person, it's not about one thing, it's about the piece. And
Right.
writing a show, there are so many components and so many people that it takes to bring something together. To write a show is hard enough. To write a hit show is even harder. And then to have all these personalities kind of come in and come together to create something is really, it's challenging,
Yeah.
So, but that being said, I love it, and the reward is so much greater.
What would you say is one of the biggest opportunities or breaks for you in doing this work that really got the wheels turning, got Michael Mott on the radar, on the map, and noticed, and people started saying, "Wow, we love what he does. We want to collaborate with him. We want to work with him. We want to, help push him forward." What would you look back at? And there might be a couple of different scenarios where those things lined up perfectly to launch things further for you.
My first album,
Ah,
this Where the Sky Ends, this album still, it came out in 2014. I just got off the phone yesterday with Van Dean, president of Broadway Records. I have like 6 releases with him now. This album completely changed my life, and I didn't even realize how much it was changing my life when it came out. But this album, still to this day, is doing numbers that are just unbelievable, better than anything else I've ever put out. And I was fortunate enough to work with some of the best singers on Broadway, so singing all my music: Justin Guarini, Zachary Levi, Sierra Boggess, Laura Osnes, Jeremy Jordan, Josh Young, Brian Terrell Clark, Orfei, Ben Fankhauser, Jackie Petrosha. Just an insane group.
all of
And
who you will be calling this afternoon and telling, "Get on the Jim Master Show live," right?
there you go.
Zachary,
Exactly.
I met because I emceed. He was terrific, very funny too. He's
He's
got
so good.
love his dry sense of humor. Carnegie Hall, I was emceeing an event which I do each year. Last 2 years, of course, we haven't because of COVID. For my dear friend, composer Tim Janis, who's
Hmm.
done like 12 PBS specials, and that's how we got connected through PBS. And Zachary was a performer with Tim's big Christmas show that he does each year to benefit Kate Winslet's Golden Hat Foundation for
Oh,
autism. And
yeah.
Zachary was terrific. He's a
He's
hoot.
a great guy. We've
So
been
that was great.
talking
What a
a bunch
lineup
about other.
too.
I know. I was so lucky. I didn't know what I was doing. I was 27. I had no idea what I was doing. I had just reached out. I'm fortunate because I went to school with Jeremy Jordan, and he's my best friend, and so I had him. But then I used him as leverage with everybody else. No one knew who I was. No one knew anything about me. But I was like, I got Jeremy Jordan. Will you do this? And this was at the time when like CDs were still kind of a little bit in fashion, but streaming was just taking over.
Right.
And I'm very fortunate. Everyone said yes. And then that really launched me and really gave me a lot of opportunities.
That is incredible. And
So
so that's available on Amazon or Spotify, iTunes, all the usual
Spotify,
places.
iTunes, it just hit 4.2 million streams on Spotify alone. So it's doing very well.
That is really, really cool. So tell us about it. What's the flavor of it? What's the feeling of it? What were you trying to get across in assembling those particular people and the songs that are on that CD? And congratulations too. Can't wait to hear it
Thanks.
myself.
Yeah. Um, this honestly, I look at back at this now, and I love it. I'm proud of it. Um, it's not like a cohesive thing.
Yeah.
The other ones are. This was kind of me being not insecure, but like I'm going to show the world that I'm a writer, and it's like we go from like Motown to 1940s swing to like 1930s club to a 2010 club. Like it's all over the place
Wow.
stylistically, and
Yeah.
I think I was just kind of like showing, not showing off, but showing like, look, this is a sample platter of everything I can do. Rather than now, I'm like, okay, people know I can do all the things. I can write a pop song, I can write a remix, I can write a dance song, I can write a piano ballad, I can write a sweeping epic score. That's my new album that just came out. I can write a sweeping epic big show, or I can write a pop album. You know, I have all these things here of I have my props. It really just depends what's called for, but I think because I was just starting out, that Where the Sky Ends for me was me trying to just show the world, like, look what I can do, you know?
Exactly right. And they've responded glowingly, which is great, which is perfect.
And I'm very
Uh,
lucky. I'm very lucky to have such an incredible cast and array of people on this.
Exactly. Yes. And working, there's nothing like collaborating and working with great people who believe in your vision, who get it, and who want to be a part of it. And that's a beautiful thing. You have those opportunities all the time, don't you, in this industry?
Well, yeah, and to that point, what I wanted to say, and I didn't because I was listening to the cast. This all happened because my mentor, a man named Kim Scharnberg, and Kim is the co-producer of this and the orchestrator of this, and he
Mm,
has since orchestrated my musical In the Light, and he co-produced that. We've done several projects together. I mean, I have a bunch of albums on Spotify and iTunes and singles and EPs, and Kim has orchestrated, I'd say, about 70% of the material I've put out. He really does believe in me, and he's a legend in the industry. He's worked with,
yes.
you know, Linda Eder and Trisha Yearwood and, you know, all the big names. And he's the reason he called Van Dean at Broadway Records and got me that deal. He called my agent, who I'm actually about to have dinner with tonight, in Europe, and got me this huge agent in Europe. Kim is wonderful, and so he really afforded the opportunities for me, and has opened a lot of doors. And you know, he's attached to my shows and my projects, and I trust him. You know.
So, who are some of the folks that have inspired you? You mentioned a couple of names coming up the ranks. Who are the folks that you've always looked up to and their style and maybe even the genre of material?
Um. Oh, there's so many. I mean, I grew up listening to Billy Joel and Mariah Carey. Speaking of Long Island,
Yeah, right.
those are my two favorite pop songwriters. And people kind of, when I say that, people are like, oh, because they don't think Mariah writes, but she writes all of her own material. And
She does.
I think her material is so well written, so well constructed. And as a producer, her pop stuff is just so perfect. Um, and then Billy Joel, same thing. I mean, Billy Joel is one of the greatest songwriters we've ever had.
Yeah.
excuse,
Yeah.
excuse me. And he is just
Chokes you up
such an
too when you
inspiration.
think
Yeah, he
about
just
that,
gets me
doesn't
so
it? Yeah.
emotional. I mean, in the middle of the night, I go choking in my sleep.
Yeah.
He's just genius, and so they really inspire me. And there's a lot of storytelling within their lyrics,
Yes. Right.
and that is the pop vernacular that I grew up on. But when you, if as far as theater goes, it's kind of amazing because my favorite musical theater songwriting team is Lynn Ahrens and Stephen Flaherty, who wrote Once on This Island,
Mm.
Ragtime, Seussical, Lucky Stiff, my favorite year. I mean, so many shows, the glorious ones. They are Lynn is actually my teacher in the BMI workshop.
Wow.
So when I was writing In the Light, I would bring a lot of drafts in of that show, and she understood the style because she writes similarly as far as like shows like Ragtime. And so when this CD came out, this album came out June 25th. and it's my musical. It's a concept. It's a highlights recording of my musical original show, In the Light of Faustian Tale. And I had presented this song, oops, other side, Let Go of Me, which is the lead character's character establishment song. And I've been writing the show for Jeremy Jordan and Saleha Pfeiffer. And I brought in this song, Let Go of Me, like 3 or 4 times. And Lynn just had such smart feedback for me. And she would say things like, you're setting up your thesis at the beginning, and it's great. And then the rest of the song, you're meandering and talking about ways you can support the thesis. But if you just focus on that thesis and see it through for the entire song, you're going to have a stronger song. And I was like, okay. And I took that and I went forward and I rewrote it, and then I brought it in again. She had better feedback. I brought it in again. And so when the album came out, I was able to email her, which I didn't even have her email. And I sent it, and I was like, I wrote this, and you really inspired me. And as an actor, I had done Seussical, and I had done My Favorite Year, and I had done her shows. And she just wrote back such a beautiful, sweet email to me. And I was like, I'm going to frame this. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So she's been a huge inspiration. And then Maury Yeston, who wrote Nine and Titanic. He is also a teacher in the class, and I've never had the privilege of presenting for him. But I now have his agent in the U.S., and so she represents me, which is just so wild. So it's been really kind of full circle, and it's a very, very, very small community.
So what's I know it's changed a lot with the COVID and everything, but what's a typical day for Michael Mott like? And while you've got that mug, why don't we toast? We always like to toast on the show. So I got the Kindness Matters mug, and what do you have there?
This is there's a producer named Fran Bazar, and she joined with a man named Nick Demos, and they created Demos Bizarre Entertainment.
Oh, I love
and
that.
They produced the one, the Tony from Memphis, and she was very sweet and gave me
cheers.
She gave me a space in New Jersey for 10 days to do rewrites for a musical I have called Mob Wife. And so I was at her house and I was drinking out of the mug, and I was like, Fran, I love this mug. She was like, oh, I have 150. Take as many as you want. So I took 2.
That's one in case it breaks, and then the other one you have that you probably don't use. You just collect it. Yeah.
Well, it actually, I store my straws in it. I steal straws because I also have water. So all my straws
You've
are
got the water.
You know?
So a typical day for you would be?
Honestly, it changes. It really varies depending on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm in the middle of a lot of, this is so boring and your audience probably does not care about this.
Oh, they love this stuff. Are you kidding me? Now, if you start talking about food, then you've really got them.
Okay. Well, I cook a huge meal.
What's your favorite? Do you have, is there a Michael Mott specialty?
I've actually, during COVID, I actually really, I started exploring my culinary side, and my dad owns a bakery, and my uncle owns a restaurant. And so I've grown up eating and cooking my whole life. My favorite thing to do is to eat and make music.
Those are good.
Food, love, and music are the 3 international.
They're all very healing, very healing. So is the bakery up in New Hartford, New York?
Yes, actually it is. It's called Salvatore's Italian Bakery.
Very nice.
He owned it with my mother all since I was growing up, and now he owns it his own. And yeah, I was making apple pies. I was making banana bread. I make homemade. I'm Italian, so I make homemade sauce and homemade pasta and meatballs, and I mean so much. But I gotta do it in moderation because these pants are already tight.
So we have some really cool photos too that we want to show along the way of your career, and there's really cool things that are also coming up for you that I know you're very excited about. And again, if somebody's watching this 6 months from now, then they can always go back in the archives and learn more about a lot of these things. But let's go through some of these cool shots we have here.
Sure.
All ready to go. Yeah.
That was with Saleha Pfeiffer in the studio recording the In the Light highlights album. I'm gonna put it right here on the side. That was.
You were able to squeeze that into that little slot there.
Perfect, right?
Wow.
This was I really hope people go and check this out. It debuted at number 8 on the Billboard charts, which is like pretty big deal for me. And yeah, just 30-piece
Tonight at 6,
orchestra.
you can see him on QVC.
Yeah. Yeah, we were able to record it. I mean, because this was during the pandemic, we were able to record it virtually. We did the orchestra in Vienna, Austria,
Oh,
over
beautiful.
Zoom.
Yeah,
And my band, the rhythm section, they recorded from their apartments live at home. The
nice.
piano was done live at home. And then we did one at a time, all the vocals one at a time. So that was with me and Saleha Pfeiffer in the studio in New York. She stars
Really
in the
nice.
show, on the album, opposite Jeremy Jordan, Sierra Renee, and Antonio Cipriano. So it's like an
Nice.
all-star Broadway cast of people. And yeah, this was a promo shot taken by Juliana McGurl. She is the assistant photographer at Saturday Night Live. So I loved working with her.
So you're right there, one
I know,
degree
right? I
away.
know. I
My
know.
friend Gina is the floor manager there. She's the one
Oh,
you always
okay.
see when they do the wide shots, when they're going to commercial break with the headset on. She's always running
Yeah.
around and you over here quickly. We got to move the set.
Oh, I love that.
That's Gina.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, and here's another cool shot. We showed
Yeah, that
this in
was
the
the same.
beginning.
Yeah, that's a really cool picture. She did.
So
That's Juliana.
you have the piano in the house there. What kind of piano do you have?
That is at a studio. This is a Yamaha.
This is the Yamaha. Yeah,
Yeah, but I have a Roland digital,
nice. Very.
and it's just easier for where I am in my career right now.
Is piano your favorite instrument? Is it the
It
one that's
is.
your
I really
favorite?
like. I also really like strings. I love
Yeah, me
violin and
too.
cello. I don't know how to
Yes.
play them, but
Yeah.
I play piano. I play drums. I took guitar for a little bit, and it's
Yeah.
interesting because as a writer, you have to be able to. You don't have to be able to play every instrument, but you have to be able to understand every instrument. And what I found a lot is that if I'm sitting at the piano and writing, my hands go to the same places. So
They do.
I've actually started writing away from the piano and hearing, okay, so maybe this is more rhythm based. So what's the beat? What's the percussion doing? What's maybe it's a guitar song. So what's the guitar doing? And then I go and I figure it out on the piano. Or now I have such an amazing band that I've been working with for the last 5, 6 years that I just go to them and I write it out and I'm like, Andy, this is what I'm hearing. Can you play this? Can you figure this out? And we work on it together. So it's just a different way of writing.
Right, exactly. But
To keep it fresh,
understanding.
keep it interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And keep
Yeah.
and understanding the placement and the importance of all of the instruments and where they should come in. And
Right.
that's really important. It requires just a certain way of thinking. It's not just a mishmash of just throwing them together. They play off each other in a very important way.
Yeah.
We were talking last night. I had Marvin Zioni on, and he was with Lone Justice, Grammy-winning producer, really terrific guy. And we were talking about the cello and how I mentioned to him, I love the sound of the cello. And I interviewed in my professional work this cellist that had graduated from in Juilliard. And I said, whenever I hear the cello, for me, it just stops traffic. It's so melancholy and deep and warm, and it just sort of sizes up life and just you feel the warmth of it. And I said, if the heart, as far as I'm concerned, if the heart ever made a sound that mimicked the sound of an instrument, for me, whenever I hear that deep, warm, melancholy sound of the cello, that's the sound for me. And he said the same for him. But the cellist, I said, to me, that's the sound of a heart. And the cellist from Juilliard said, absolutely, I get it. That's not crazy, Jim. I get that. And he said, because the cello, I guess, sort of in its sound is the closest in sound to, or one of the instruments closest in sound to the human voice. So that's why you're humanizing the cello. You're giving it humanistic characteristics of warmth and love and just all encompassing, enveloping sound of that cello. Do you get
I
that
love
too when
I
you
love
hear
that
the
you
cello?
I love that you just said that because I actually so this new agent, we were going through my whole catalog of everything I've ever written, and she brought up a show I wrote that I had actually completely forgotten about. I wrote a 10-minute musical called Riding Out the Storm that is for piano, cello, and two women.
Hmm.
And I wrote it with Christine Toy Johnson, and it's essentially a woman the day of Hurricane Sandy in 2012
Yeah.
deciding to pack up and leave her house, but it's the house her husband built. And she's kind of packing up the memories, knowing on Long Island that the house is going to be enveloped with the storm. So it's written for piano and cello, and the cello signifies his memory, the memory of him, and where
Yes.
it's written is like the memory of the voice, and then it also represents the storm.
Yeah.
It's a very metaphorical piece. And my agent was like, "Send me this," and I have a demo. I have the whole recording. So I sent it to her, and she was like, "I love this." And I was like, "I forgot that this is," because it was a project. My first year of the BMI workshop for like a 10-minute musical. I was like, okay, I've written so much since then that I completely forgot about it.
About that.
And and it's right. And as I was listening to it, we actually don't have a live cello on the demo recording. But I kept on saying it's so important that we have a real cello. If we do something, we have to make real recordings with a real cello. It's only 10 minutes of music. Um, and it's right because the cello represents that, and that's what it signifies in the piece. And so
Yeah.
I love that you just said that because you explained it better than I could.
Appreciate that. Yeah, it's just something that people have said I'm very intuitive, high level empath, and operate from a higher consciousness. So I feel things very deeply and hear and taste things very deeply. I always ask why. Why is probably a question not just in conversations like this, but I always like the why. I like to know the why before anything else. When I know the why and I feel the why, then we can go with the how, what, when, where, who, all the mechanics of it, the nuts and bolts of how to do it. But the why for me, the feeling, and with music too, there's lots of why. The why of it is essential for me because I like to feel it, no matter what it is, even if it's something that isn't the most pleasant thing to feel. That you learn from that as well too. So uh, feeling and why is huge for me. How about you? You are you a why guy?
Well, yeah, no, I mean, at the end of the day, it all is intuition, and you have to trust your gut. And bringing it
Yes.
back to what you were saying earlier, I I really have learned a lot during this pandemic to trust myself and my intuition. And a lot of it, I don't know if it's the why. I know that it's for me. It's like, does this feel like it's the right thing? And I feel like I know myself well enough to know that I have a good moral compass and that I have values and that I want to treat people correctly and right and do the right thing. And a lot of times, especially in this business, as you know, there's a lot of hard decisions to make. And at the end of the day, it's a business
Hmm.
and there are business decisions to be made. And that's kind of when you were asking me about my typical day is like, I'm kind of in this kind of gross period where there's business decisions to be made now.
Yeah.
And it makes me, it kind of brings me down. It's very just heavy. And
Yeah.
so anything like this is so uplifting and positive, and making the music is the opposite of that. But then you're in meetings and there's lawyers and there's
Yeah.
agents and there's negotiations, and you're like, no, ask for this because you deserve this. And it's like, oh, I hate all of that.
You
And it
just
really
want to
is
do the
like,
music.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
You
it's not,
just
I mean, that's not realistic. So my days for the last 2 months, to be honest, it's a lot more than that, but it's just been a lot of business negotiation. It's a lot of my mother. I was telling my mother some stuff, and she was like, "You should go check and see if you have an ulcer." She's like, "I think you might have an ulcer," because it's just like you don't want to deal with that stuff. So
yeah.
I don't know,
Right.
but you know in your gut if it's right, and you just try to remain a good human being that's doing the right thing for the project, for the song, for the art, for the it's not
Right.
about me, it's not about one person. And sometimes I can get wrapped up in that. And especially with fans and with people who follow you and like
Yeah.
this fan I have this fan in I hate saying fan, it sounds so pretentious. This follower in
Yeah.
Canada who made artwork to this album, and he drew every single character. It is the most exquisite art. I just shared it in my
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah.
And
It's
I can
beautiful
get
what people can do, huh?
you
It's
can get
very,
caught up. You can
yeah.
get caught up in the like, oh, I created this thing and people love that, but it's actually not about you. It's about the work.
And what they connect to and what they find relatable because you might have a vision and a thought as far as what this material is going to be. Everybody, whether it's a TV show or it's a sculpture, a painting, a film, piece of music, anything we do, a book, um, but then people sort of make it their own. They connect their life experiences, their journey, maybe not to the entire thing, and maybe it doesn't match everything that they're experiencing that they've ever been through. uh, but they connect to certain elements of it in ways that goes very deep to them. And when you're able to reach people and inspire them and lift them up through the talent that comes naturally, through the blood, sweat, and tears of all the effort and everything that goes into all these things that we do, uh, it's really the icing on the cake, isn't it? And then when somebody that is an admirer of the work sends you something, goes to the trouble of writing a poem or painting something or stitching, crocheting something and sending it to you, that's hard to even put in words. That's feelings. That's depth. That's heart, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I just didn't even know what to say. I mean, how many times can you say thank you? I appreciate this. It's so beautiful. I mean, I'm kind of speechless.
Yeah.
He went to the trouble of not only drawing the things, but then printing them, getting them on like they're like trade cards. They're like this big, and he gave me 6 of them. And I met him. He's here in New York. He brought his grandmother to see a bunch of Broadway shows.
Oh
So
my
he,
God, that's even more touching.
I know,
The grandmother too. Wow,
I
he's pulling
know.
out all the stops.
I know. So he was like, "Here, can I meet you in Times Square and give these to you?" And it was just so nice. And he has them
Did
for
you
my
tell your
collaborator.
dad? Did you tell the grandmother that your dad owns a bakery? She'd probably
I
love
I
that.
actually didn't see her. He just
Yeah.
came on his own. We met up for like 10 minutes on the street, and he handed it to me.
Wow, that's
Because you also have
amazing.
to, you never know who is asking you to meet somewhere.
Well, that could be.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
absolutely. Um, here's another cool photo. There you are doing your thing. What's happening here? It's cool.
this was a private showing for about. Want to hear the story about this? This is 35 people at 6 p.m. on March 12th, 2020.
Ah,
At 5:30,
that date. Yes,
we
that
heard
date.
the entire city is shutting down,
Yeah.
and 35 minutes later, we had this presentation of In the Light for these are people backers who'd given I think a minimum of like $500, $600 to
Hmm.
do a private 45-minute showing of myself and Jeremy Jordan at the piano, kind of going through 45 minutes of the show
Mm,
before we got into the studio. And we had people had flown in from all over the world to be here, and we were at a private studio in Midtown Manhattan.
mm.
And 35 minutes prior, they were like, Broadway shutting down. We're all going away. And Jeremy Jordan and I were sitting there like, what do we do? Like,
Yeah.
it's 5:30 and everything's shut down. We have
The
this thing at
whole
6.
world has stopped, right? It's
Yeah,
like the
and there's
Twilight
people in the
Zone.
hallway. And
Yeah.
so we didn't know. So if you can see, you see how there's like maybe 8 inches to a foot in between people?
Yes.
We just thought maybe we'll just space people out like a foot. And so we put about a foot in between people, but now we know that didn't solve anything. Like we
Right.
didn't know anything about masks, we didn't know anything about social distancing. We just had people sitting in a room and we just said, we're not going to touch anyone. Please don't come up and hug us.
Yeah.
We would talk to people, but that was it. And that was March 12th, 2020.
We had a guest on last week who was competing with his duet partner on America's Got Talent, and they had to shut down production then for America's Got Talent, and they weren't sure if they made it in yet or not, and it was really they did make it in, but it was really something. I mean, the world stopped. It was like a Twilight Zone. Here's a cool shot.
Yeah, that's a live shot from my Michael Mott and Friends concert series at the Green Room 42, which
Oh yeah, the
brings
green
me
room. Yeah.
to I have a new concert happening next month, November 27th, at the Green Room 42 in Manhattan. 7 p.m. show. It's going to be a 75-minute show of my original material. And I do not have my special guest singers announced yet, but they're coming. I'm finalizing that. I had one idea of what I wanted to do with the show, and then
Yeah.
I have some new material. I scored my first short film, and I actually,
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you. I think I'm gonna actually premiere the whole, like, I'm gonna do like a section that's just like the music I'd written
As
for the
part of
film.
the show that's coming up.
Yeah, it's different for me. I've
Wow.
never done that, so I'm changing what I'm doing for that concert. Um, so yeah, it's November 27th at 7 p.m. at the Green Room 42. People can go to michaelmott.net or my Instagram at Michael_Mott to get tickets.
Now, is there a michaelmott.com out there?
There is, and he is a famous poet, not me.
You know, it's amazing. I finally, one plus about the pandemic, for some reason, I finally, after a long time, was able to get jimmasters.com. I've got .net, .tv, .this, that, and the other, Jim Masters Media, all the rest. But forever, jimmasters.com was always taken. And then sometimes the person that had it would let it lapse, and I'd get this notification. This person, you might be getting it. This person didn't renew it. And an English DJ with the same name, because Masters is an English name, the same name in England would have it. And something happened in the summertime where it just went available, and I had to go through the Netherlands to get it. But it was like the 4th of July finally getting the .com. So don't give up. You never know.
It's so funny. I actually have it. I forgot. I'm just so used to .net by now.
Me too, yeah.
But yeah, no, Michael Mott is a famous poet. He's like, I think he's in his 80s maybe. But he's won a bunch of awards, and yeah,
Cool
I
stuff.
tried once to get the website and years ago, and then I just
Yeah.
settled on .net.
Yeah, there's a thing where there's a service through the websites like GoDaddy and some of the others where you can be on an alert, where they send you a bulletin or an email that it's coming up to possibly being available. So that way there you can act upon it if it does become available. So little
That makes
tip
sense.
there for
Okay.
everybody.
Yeah.
You call that a lifestyle segment on the Jim Masters Show. Here's another cool shot.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's with Kyle Taylor Parker, who was singing in that same exact show at the Green Room 42, and then my background singers. We have fun. It's a great group, and I have such a great band. It really is like a jam band, just doing all my music. And comedy hour, I'll tell stories and do impressions, and yeah, it's a fun.
Juanita's in South Africa. She asked, any relation to the photographer Justin Mott?
No, my actual last name is Motta, Motta, and
Oh, did they change it when they?
Ellis Island, yeah.
Yes, from Italy.
Correct. Yeah, it's
What
pronounced
part?
Calabria
Yeah,
and Naples. So they pronounce it Motta, but my friends
Motta.
all call me Mata. So all my
Mata.
college friends call me Mata, which is my production company, Mata Music, or Motta
I
Music,
like
however you
that.
want to say it.
So in England, masters is masters, and I say masters, and cousins in New York go masters.
Yes. You get your master's, your
Masters.
PhD.
Oh, that's really funny. People ask if you talk to customer service, they're like, "How do you spell masters?" I'll say James Masters or what have you, and they'll say masters. How do you spell that? And I said, "How do you spell masters?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'll say, "Have you heard of the golf tournament or maybe the college degree?" Oh, masters. Yeah, masters. And then if I say Jim, I'll say Jim Masters, and they'll go, "Is that with one M or two?"
J.I. Masters.
J Masters, Jim Asters.
That's so
Okay.
funny.
Can I
That's so
please speak
funny.
to your manager?
I just say Michael Applesauce, and then they spell it.
Oh, I like that. Yes, Mott's applesauce. That is cool. Here's
No
another
relation
quick
to the
shot.
company. Oh, that's with my niece and nephew. That was their first time. After the
Ah,
show, my nephew ran up on stage, and then my niece, not to be outdone, joined him.
yes.
So I had them join me for the finale.
That is really, really
And she
cool.
was talking. It starts with just me and the piano, and she started talking to him, and I turned to her. You can actually go watch this on YouTube. The song's called "Get Up on My Feet" at the Green Room 42, and I was singing it, and she started talking, and I was like, "Hey, if you're gonna sit up here, Amira, you can't be talking." And
Right.
she said, and she was like, "Sorry." And then I told the story. She said, "Michael, no one at my school even knows who you are."
Yeah.
So I was like, "Okay, then, great, thank you so much."
That is funny. Here's another shot too.
Oh yeah, that's a 54 below,
Oh, great
taken by
place.
Mark Ashkinos. Yeah, he's a great
Yeah.
photographer.
Another great place too. 54 below. Here's another shot.
That's also 54 below with
Yeah.
my cats. That was I had done a cover of "Oh What a Night." Because
See, I know you guys asked if he was going to sing. You did
there
get a
you
little
go.
bit there, gang.
Yeah, I when I was an actor, I would always be in for the Jersey Boys show, and so I
Oh,
decided to cover it in my concerts.
oh, that's cool. Another
54
great shot.
below. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great shot.
I
What
wish I
was
could tell
happening
you.
in that moment? Do you remember that moment? What was happening?
They said you're gonna go get pizza right after this.
Oh, and you're like, yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
I am starving.
'Cause
I
you
haven't
can't
eaten
eat
in
before the
days.
show. Yeah.
No,
And
you
like when
can't
I do
eat.
a show, I don't have. I normally don't actually have dairy, believe it or not, as an Italian.
Right. No, no, no. As an on-air person, same thing
No
because
dairy.
it creates, phlegm or whatever, and
And
no
coffee is
dairy.
like the worst, wine. So I don't drink,
Wine.
and I mean, I drink, please, but when I'm
Right.
doing a show, I don't drink. I don't have any dairy, and I'm just
Right.
hydrating, hydrating, hydrating with water.
So
So
that's part
after a
of your
show,
routine,
yeah.
in preparation. I have a friend who's an opera singer who will not go out in the real frigid cold,
Stars.
because, right, if she has to perform the next day because she's fearful of, anything. The voice is an instrument just like
Absolutely.
anything else, and you got to really baby it and nurture it. Here's a cool shot.
Oh yeah, that's with Jenna Ushkowitz. She's on my second album, Abandoned Heart, and she sings a song called Minefield of Love, and
Oh,
that
that's
was
cool.
us. That was us at here's the album. It's also on streaming. Physical CDs are available at BroadwayRecords.com for all of these. She Jenna Ushkowitz was singing Minefield of Love. We did an acoustic version with my drummer Adam Wolf, and so that's what that was. She's great. She's the star of Glee. Um, she's amazing.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
So you really love what you're doing. It's something,
Yeah, it's the best.
you dreamed, that would be coming your way, and you've been working hard at it. What are some other cool things that you would like to do, Michael, that you haven't touched upon yet? Do you have a
Well,
bucket list of things
oh
that you
yeah.
wanna?
As far as career,
Sure.
I definitely want to. I mean, my shows. I want my shows to happen on Broadway. I've been very fortunate to have like regional and international performances, but I would like a Broadway run of my shows. I would like to start working with, I continue making albums and doing concerts. I was just in the studio recording new music that I'm just actually getting mastered right now, actually, Jim Masters. When you make an album, you
You
have to
can
get
do
your
a lot
songs.
with that name. Yes.
You can. It's in mastering right now, my new stuff. And I'm just kind of figure out when the best time to put that out is because I don't want to oversaturate the market. I put out an album in April called The Only One. That's a visual narrative, and you can go watch the music videos on YouTube. It's a 6-track visual narrative. And then I put out In the Light this year. So I'm kind of weighing the options of do I want to put out more music this year or just kind of let it sit? I don't want to push too much, you know? I don't
Right.
want to oversaturate the market. And who wants to compete right now with Adele and Mariah with Christmas coming up? So
That's coming out. Yes, yes. Do you like
so
Christmas? Do you see Christmas
I
music in
love
your
Christmas.
future? Yeah, I do
I
too.
have a bunch of Christmas material. I wrote a song for Matt Bloyd called Never Thought of Christmas, which I hope people go check out. It came out last year and did very well. I wrote Laura Osnes a song called Christmas Will You Stay that has been performed with the Boston Pops, an 80-piece orchestra.
Mm.
So there's a recording of that I'm very proud of. And then I wrote a song for the boy band project called Jingle My Bells, which won the 2020 Broadway World Award for Best Original Song. And all of them have music videos. So I hope people go check out the Christmas material. And I hope to perform all of those songs live in my concert next month.
That is cool. That's really exciting. Again, so
Yeah.
much coming up as things start to open up. Um, well, I just want to show you somebody here that's, sort of our sidekick who usually comes towards the latter part. I know you have to scoot off. There's a phone call you have to make that's
I
important.
do.
But Mr. George Burns is with us, this
Hey.
afternoon.
Hey, George.
And he sends his
Nice to see you
best.
again.
Yeah. Remember he played God in the movie? He's got his
That's
cigar.
right.
He's all ready to go.
He's got
And
his bow tie.
he's got his bow tie. He's sort of my sidekick. So he said, "You knocked it out of the park, kiddo." And he, was happy that, you popped on the Jim Master Show live this afternoon.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been awesome.
Yeah, I hope the show met whatever expectations you had, Michael, and
Absolutely. Thank
you
you.
would.
I hope I did.
Oh, absolutely, and that you enjoyed the time with me as much as I certainly have with
Absolutely.
you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I
Yep.
appreciate the opportunity.
We'll keep the porch light on for you. You're welcome back anytime. Spread the word about our show. You know how that is. It's all about
Over
spreading the
me.
word and telling everybody about it. And it was a pleasure. Best of luck with everything. Hopefully, we'll, get a chance to, connect in person, right here in the New York area, maybe with one of your shows or something. But
Yeah.
break bread. That'll be real cool.
Thank you
You-
so much. I would love that.
It was a pleasure, my friend. Thanks for
Same.
everything, and we'll see you again soon. Okay.
Have a good day. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Michael. Bye
Bye.
bye now. Cheers. All right, Michael Mott coming in live from New York City. Maybe this is the first time you got a chance to learn about him and who he is and the work that he does. And it was a pleasure having him here on the show. And we had him for a little bit of a period there. He has a special call he has to make at 2 p.m. Eastern. Composer, lyricist, songwriter, performer Michael Mott coming in from New York City. Gang, we'd love it if you would like and subscribe to Jim Masters TV, the home to all of these episodes of the Jim Masters Show live entertainment lifestyle talk show series. That would be awesome. Want to let you know tonight, comedy legend Tim Conway, of course, from the Carol Burnett Show, McHale's Navy, and so much more. Tim, beloved comedian, and so much more. His daughter and author, Kelly Conway, is on with us tonight, live at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. She has a new book out, My Dad's Funnier Than Your Dad, recalling her wonderful dad, comedy legend Tim Conway, her life, growing up with your dad being a comedy legend, and so much more. Kelly is with us tonight. We're so excited about that. This is a double lovety day here on the Jim Masters Show live. We're so excited to have her with us. It's going to be really, really cool. So many great guests and so much more coming up on our show. We have tomorrow, Saturday, we have author and longtime friend of Leonard Cohen, Judy Scott's going to be with us. And she has a new book out where she's detailing this very special time on this Greek island with Leonard and others. And we're going to be talking with her tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. Next week, we also have Larry Strauss with us. And Larry is the son of television icon Charlotte Rae. Yes, Charlotte Rae, of course, we know starred in Different Strokes on NBC with Gary Coleman and Conrad Bain and Todd Bridges and so much more. And of course, she was Mrs. Garrett, Edna Garrett, on the beloved 80s sitcom The Facts of Life with Kim Fields and Lisa Whelchel and Mindy Cohn and George Clooney and all the rest. She was a brilliant actress, film, television actress, stage actress. Her son, Larry Strauss, wrote this incredible book. He's going to be live and direct from Hollywood. Also, Gabrielle Stone is joining us too, actress, director, author, daughter of Hollywood legend Dee Wallace, who is the mom on E.T. She was also in Cujo, The Howling, The Hills Have Eyes, all those horror movies and more. Her daughter, Gabrielle Stone, is a prolific award-winning actress, director, author. She's got a new book out. We're going to have her on the show as well. Next week, Jerry Mathers, who played the Beaver Cleaver on the famed, legendary 50s, 60s sitcom, Leave It to Beaver. He's going to be with us as well next week and so much more. But tonight, Kelly Conway joins us. Again, we thank Michael Mott for joining us here on the show. Really cool to have him here. And got a chance to chat with him live from New York City. Always great connecting with all of you guys as well. Thanks, Jim. See you all later. Have a good day. You too. And Merlin, see you later. It's lunchtime here. Got to have some lunch. And then we're busy, busy, busy. I'm on the air professionally about an hour from now. And good to see you, Sherry, and good to see Juanita. This was a fun conversation. Thank you, Michael, for spending time with us. Michael, you're so talented. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, gents. I'll catch in archives. Absolutely. Yes, you can see all of our episodes in the archives at our YouTube channel, which is this channel right here, Jim Masters TV. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, we would love it. Help us grow and share the lovity. Tell everybody you know about the Jim Masters Show Live. Click like on this episode on our YouTube channel. And also leave a comment on the YouTube channel as well. That really helps us grow, gang. YouTube sees that, and then they burst this out even further around the world. The YouTube channel is Jim Masters TV. That's the channel you're watching this show on right now. That's a channel dedicated to entertaining, informing, educating, and inspiring, and more. And of course, as we always say, don't forget to smile, share the lovity, find your Zen place. Mine is the work in television, radio, stage, and film over the years. And of course, the ocean is my go-to place as well. And loving family and friends and spending time with all of you is also a Zen place as well. All right, gang, we love you all. Thanks for being with us. A couple more comments coming in here, and then we're going to wrap up this episode of JMS Live. Thank you, Jim. Another great show. Thank you, Juanita and Kathleen Walker. Thank you all. See you later. Absolutely. And we'll see you too, Jane and Merlin and everybody else who's watching this in the archives. We thank you as well. For all of us here at the Jim Master Show Live, have a great day. We'll see you on the next episode of JMS Live, the Jim Master Show, right here. You guys are the true best. We appreciate it. And we toast all of you. We'll see you soon. Cheers.